Let's face it, the signs are everywhere. Heat that won't let up, floods that come harder and faster in the rainy season, trees vanishing from places that were once green. Nature is speaking. But the question is, are we listening? As the world marks Earth Day, April 22nd, 2025, the message is clear. Our power, our planet, is a call to action, not just for global leaders, but for everyday people, especially here in Nigeria. It's about making better choices for cleaner air, safer communities, and a future our children can inherit. Renewable energy, environmental justice, and proper waste disposal, they sound like big words, but they all come down to one thing: how we treat the environment we live in and whether we are willing to protect it. Tonight, we will explore what preserving the environment really means in Nigeria and what role we'll all have to play before the damage becomes irreversible. Thanks for joining us on Nigeria Today. I am Eucharia Clinton. Joining us for the conversation here in the studio is Comrade Yusuf Olatunji Kelani. He's a special assistant to the President on climate change matters. We are glad to have you here on Nigeria Today.
Thank you so much for bringing me in here.
Joining us via Zoom from Maryland, USA, is Femi Kiri. He's a managing consultant, Spotlight World Environmental Solutions, and General Secretary, ISWA Africa. He's also an environmentalist. It's a pleasure to have you on Nigeria Today, Femi.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I'll start with you, Comrade. Today we are celebrating a very, special, like a special thing, the World Earth Day. Yeah. We see the issues everywhere. We have farmlands drying up. We see drainages being blocked by wastes and all of that. Now, what does this day really mean to us as a country and as a people?
Okay, thank you so much. World Earth Day, which comes up every 22nd of April, it's a day to remind us, or for all human beings to do a collective stock take, like an evaluation of our activities on the planet over time. We try to measure what we have turned the planet into, looking at all that has to do with the earth itself, looking at the mountains, the water areas, the ocean, the land areas, the vegetation, the forest, what man-made activities has actually turned this place into. So it is for us to do a kind of a stock take, and then we ask our questions. Are we actually going by the way nature really wants us to go? We came into this world, we met it out there. Nature gave us a very good environment. We have very good air to breathe in, healthy one. And our carbon dioxide is being taken up by the trees, which in turn give us our oxygen in return. So what are those activities that human beings have been able to carry out within this ecosystem, and how is the environment right now? So it's a day for us to do that stock take and ask our question, very important questions on the things that we need to do. So it's a very important day to us, to humanity, and then to the earth that we live in. Very important.
Thank you for that opening remark, Comrade. Now, to you, Femi, it's a period we do a stock taking and see what we have been doing to the environment and how can we, if there are any issues, how can we salvage the environment. However, what do you believe is the most urgent environmental threat Nigeria faces today?
Well, one of the major environmental threats we are facing as a country, and not just as a country, but even globally, is a threat from plastic waste. Now, waste management is a major challenge, and of course, if you have to narrow it down, then we will say that the plastic waste is one of the major problems that we are actually facing as a country. And I think that is it. So if we tackle the issue of waste management, then we will also be able to tackle the issue of plastic waste management, among others.
Now back to you. Thank you very much, Femi. Now back to you, comrade. We hear it every day, switching to renewable energy. Anywhere you see, maybe any gathering, any conference, it's becoming an issue, even globally. Yep. Now, how realistic can this shift, be for Nigeria?
Okay, as it is not a question that we need to ask. It is a reality that we need to face, because we see it in the. Sometime we will say the effect of climate change is a myth, but right now we can see that it is reality, something that is standing before us. This is as a result of man-made activities in depleting the ozone layer, making the atmosphere not conducive enough for human habitation, as well as for the trees, because everybody benefits from the atmosphere. So now, if you look at activities, we have actually endangered the planet. Like I said, the ozone layer is depleting. The rays of the sun is coming in a bit more. We are experiencing more heat, and we see some of this destruction. Probably that's making us actually believe in the reality of the effect of climate change and the environmental degradation. But coming into Nigeria, let's look at the reality. In the last 5 years, we have been facing the issue of flooding whenever it rains, and the rain is coming now, and depending on how Mother Nature in terms of rainfall, we seem to find it difficult to tackle the aftermath of the rainfall. Look at this peculiar challenges of the country. The north is battling the issue of drought, and also the desert encroachment, which is quite spreading. And in the south, we're experiencing the issue of flooding and also, pollution, both the ocean and the land pollution as well, the oil spill and everything. So people around that, the southern part of the country, who find it difficult to carry out their livelihood activities, planting and fishing and the like. Some of them are quite running up there because we're having those sun storage as well. So the meeting point is the Middle Belt, which has been the very sensitive area in the country in the last 16 years, where we have the issue of security challenge, and you see herders encroaching into the land of the farmers, which is a major security challenge we are having in the land, and one thing that the government is actually battling with, and we are still dealing with. But the thing is, we need to realize first that this is as a result of the effect of climate change and part of the devastating effects of human-made activities on the planet, and we need to take action. Looking at that issue of waste disposal is also a major challenge, especially when we have cities in Nigeria that are growing. The level of urbanization is increasing, and our quest for that urbanization, we begin to concrete everywhere, and we don't think of what contains the water whenever we have huge rainfall. Wetlands are being encroached upon, development activities. And for us as a government, it is important and pertinent for us to actually come in to put control in these areas, such that we think of environmental preservation, conservation, and to make it healthy for everybody. These are some immediate challenges that we have at the moment that is facing us, the reality we need to face, and the government on its side is doing what we need to do, because the government cannot do it alone. There are three persons or three sets of people that are involved. The government, who are the regulators of the economy and they set up the policy. The private sector, who are carrying out the businesses. The cost of urbanization is very huge. You're talking of profit maximization and cost minimization. But in this era, we are talking of renewable energy, such that we make power generation friendly, cleaner, and safe.
Okay, before you go further, now you talked about, you mentioned three pillars?
Yes. Yeah.
The government, of course, and other private sector and the rest of them.
And the civil societies.
Okay, good. And civil society. Now, what is the government doing? You just mentioned the government. What is the government doing in the area of the shift to renewable energy?
Okay. Yes, a lot is going on. For example, the REA, the Rural Electrification Agency, who are carrying out a lot of, power projects across the country. So they are adopting, or they have put in place friendly energy generation models in the area of renewable energy, concentrating more on solar energy, which is less harmful, generates less heat, and can last longer. So that is ongoing. Then also encouraging Nigerians to actually go in that line as well, trying as much as possible to make the solar panels a bit cheaper, and that we have a quality ones in the system, working with the standard organization to ensure that that is doable. So all of this is going on. It takes process actually, and as you know, we have an energy deficit in this country, and we are trying to meet up. The national grid, what we're able to generate is still very low. It's something that should cater effectively for about 20% of the population we have now. So with the population we have now, we need to generate more. And all of that is going on. Like you see, all the distribution companies as well, they have also been they've been directed that they have to go along that line in going into renewable energy, alternative energy sources, take advantage of the natural gift that we have, which is the sunlight, which can give us energy, can generate power from it. So all of that is going on, and it will take time, but it's going on. And other agencies who are actually involved in that area, especially the Ministry of Science and Technology, they are also deploying different models to assist electric generating organs of the country to actually take advantage of that, and also looking into other sources of power generation, like wind, like hydro, and all of that. Okay. So that is ongoing.
Now, Femi, the comrade here has mentioned quite a lot of things that the government is doing. Now, we're talking about preserving the environment. We're also talking about shifting, to the era of renewable energy. From the policy standpoint, what would you say that we're doing right and what is missing?
Of course, on daily basis, new policies are coming up. We are strengthening the policies. We have discussions are going on here and there as regards how to improve on our attitude towards the environment. So, and I would say that in that regards, we are going on the same, in a good direction. But that is not to say that the speed is enough, because more often than not, these policies are formulated, and then there are no action to actually back it up. So we don't actually get to walk the talk. There are more talks than action as it is. And I will also say that it's also very important that even as the government makes the policy, like Comrade has said, and we talked about the 3 pillars, the investors have to actually be deliberate about the actions. And I will include myself as part of the investors, that we have to be deliberate about our action as it has to do with moving the environment forward. And of course, even the populace, the end user, we have said quite a lot about the issue of waste management, and then that the people should understand that government will not be solely responsible for the issue of waste management, but then individuals should also know that we have responsibilities as it has to do with that. And that will also be one of the things we should also be more deliberate about, so that we would be on the right course globally, and of course, meeting global expectations.
Okay, now, Comrade, of course, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned that the 3 pillars, of course, which the private sector is one and one of the major players yes. in this regard. Now, how responsible, in your own opinion, are some of these companies? How responsible are they in terms of protecting the environment? I would take, for instance, the oil and gas.
Yes, the word responsible, it's very sensitive for us to use here, because for every private organization, the major objective is profit maximization. But as a government, and this is where you have to come in terms of regulation, you need to protect the environment, and you need to ensure that they go on their business activities, keeping the environment safe, and at the same time, they have concerns for the ecosystem. And of course, they are ready for that, and quite a lot of them are doing that. Some are giving back to the system. The thing is, over the years, like I said, we have backlogs of a backlog of activities that are kind of like affected the environment in terms of oil spill and the like, because these are some of the risks that comes with production activities. But then, being whether it is errors or what have you, of course, they must take responsibility, which they have taken responsibility. And part of the things, like I said, we're doing now is for them to adopt safe alternative energy sources, which is ongoing. And you know, Nigeria is an oil producing nation, and while we understand the challenges of fossil fuels when it comes to environmental degradation, we also need to consider the revenue of this country, which the government also intends to use to improve the living standard of Nigerians. But then we have to make it friendly and safe, which is what we're doing now. And as you can see, we have introduced taking advantage of our gas, the compressed national gas, which we have introduced into our automobile system, so that we don't waste them, we don't flood them, we make use of them. But I can tell you the companies are ready and they are doing well, but we are still far behind. That's the reality. We are still far behind. So we are engaging them in discussions so that they are part of the discussions, the negotiations, so such that we don't just bring them in when it comes to implementation or enforcement. From the beginning, they are part of the lawmaking, part of bringing out the policies, so that we all understand the language we are speaking and we are on the same page, so that by the time we are implementing, we are also implementing and executing together. So, for example, everybody is involved. The lawmakers are involved in putting up the laws for us to actually implement, and the business communities too are carried out. For example, all the conferences we attend, we ensure that they attend as well. For the Conference of Parties, the COP meeting that we go, the UNFCCC COP meetings, the sensitive private companies in the country, they attend as well. NNPC, Shell, Mobil, all of the oil producing countries, energy, gas, even in other areas as well, manufacturing, they participate, so that we sit down at a round table, we are on the same page, and we put into consideration something that is very, very important. That is the safety of every Nigerian in whatever we are doing. So they are responsive, but we still have to do more. Same thing applies to us in government as well. We have to do more, even though we are doing our best, but we still have a long way to go, and we need the people to understand this. Most times we should not wait until we see these things physically. For example, we are talking about waste disposal. The rains is starting now. People come out and dump waste into the drainages, which is very, very bad, and we have been educating against this, informing people against this. And it is important we take actions, that Nigerians, whenever you see anyone doing this, please speak against it, because those refuse you're dumping in the drainage, of course the waters will bring it back to your doorstep.
It will come back to you, definitely.
Yeah, and it will be worse off. Then also for developmental purposes, we find out that we are beginning to build along floodplains. One of the things that was responsible for the flooding we have, because water has its roots. It's been there for years, for decades. But we see people unguarded development where people build along floodplains, which is also dangerous. The government is enforcing bring out some enforcement in some areas, especially in those areas that are affected, such that people give way for water to flow.
Thank you very much, Comrade. I'll have to stop you here so that Femi can say one or two things. Now, Femi, you talked about, walking the talk. It's not just about having policies, churning out policies, but we have to do more. Now, what are some of the innovative solutions you will recommend that will enable us, protect our environment?
Okay. Number one, we must hold the government accountable, especially when it comes to the issue of waste management. Because now, in the past few years, let's talk about the local governments, for instance, that the constitution saddled with the responsibility of waste management. Now, local government will tell you that they do not have the resources. The state government, struggles with the local government in the issue of waste management. So now it is critical and it is very essential that we hold them accountable and say, okay, this is what we want to see. Because when it comes to waste management, it's not something they can tell us rhetorics about. If a city is clean, we will know it is clean. And when it is not clean, we know it is not clean. So now we should actually begin to grade government by their performance as it has to do with waste management. So I think that is essential for us to begin to do. When we begin to hold the government accountable for this, then the government will begin to hold the people accountable for it. Yes, I am on the standpoint that the government cannot do waste management as a social responsibility. It's no longer done anywhere in the world, but then the government has the responsibility of enforcing. How many people have been brought to book, maybe except in Lagos, in other parts of the country? How many people have been brought to book for disposing waste indiscriminately? How many people have been sent to jail? Our laws permit us to take people to jail or fine people, but you realize that people would rather even prefer to pay the fines and pollute the environment because they know that the issue of jails will not even come in. So we should walk the talk by ensuring that what our laws and policy says, we actually live by that. We have quite a number of strong laws. It may not be strong enough, but then if we begin to live by them and ensuring that we bring people to book for polluting the environment, our environment will become better for it. Many people don't even know that you can be sent to jail for burning waste in Nigeria, but then the laws actually say so.
Thank you very much, Femi. Now, just in 30 minutes, comrade, he talked about the local government, 30 seconds rather. Oh. He talked about, the local government, and that brings me to my, my last question. Okay. The people at the rural areas. Yes. You talked about the people understanding the policy, what the government is doing. Are there measures to ensure, or are there programs that will ensure that people at the rural areas, talking about, of course, I don't even need to mention the locals, understand this? Because some of them just feel it's not their business, it's the business of the government. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. 30 seconds are too short, but I'll try. So what we're doing, part of assignments from my office, it's education and information and awareness, general awareness for people to understand this. And now we are taking this into the grassroots. We're starting in Abuja. We've started already to the 6 development areas, and we are going nationwide to the subnationals to actually educate people on that. Then one thing is in the area of waste management as regards the communities. So we are bringing about empowerment opportunities for young people, the women, because these days we have technologies that you don't need. You can convert this waste into energy for energy purposes, and you can reuse this waste. So and we're educating people on that, trying to make them understand that, because if you don't make them understand, it will be difficult for you to implement. So we are doing that as well, so that there are young people, when there's a party and you see plastics, and where there are young people who are picking it up, taking it to an area where they're collecting them for recycling activities. And that program is currently going on. We are starting with Abuja, like I said. Next week Tuesday we are doing one that involves the 6 in Abuja here, for them to inform them the empowerment of the opportunities in waste to wealth. So you don't have to throw this waste into the drains anymore. We can make use of them. You can even bring money to your pocket. Yes, and also waste separation as well. A lot is going on, and we intend to take it to the grassroots. And we are not limiting it here in Abuja. We're going to the subnationals, like I said, for them to understand the language. What we want to do is to ensure that we inform them before we can think of carrying out enforcement, arresting, and all of this, because people need to understand why you're arresting them.
Thank you very much. Comrade Yusuf Olatunji Kilani, Special Assistant to the President on Climate Change Matters. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me once again.
And from Maryland, USA, we had Femi Kinri. He's the Managing Consultant, Spotless World Environmental Solutions, and the General Secretary, ISWA Africa. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Femi.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being part of the program. Remember, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I'm Ikaria Clinton. Goodbye.